In today's video, we're going to talk about how to take an e-commerce company from around 10 to 20k per month in revenue to 80 to 100k per month in revenue as fast as possible using paid ads and email without losing money on ads, spending more money creating ads, plus launching more, hiring more staff, and discounting further. Again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sam Dixon. I'm the founder of Studio Digital. I've been helping e-commerce businesses since 2020 with paid ads and email to generate results like the ones I'm just about to show you. So here are some of our Meta ad account partner results. A fashion brand came to us in June, and in May they generated £62,000 at 2.16x, as you can see from the screenshot here. In August, we then generated £116,000 for them at a 3.27x, as you can see from the screenshot here. A health brand, they were running profitable ads. They, they generated £19,000 here at a 5.03x return. You're probably thinking that's really good. Why is that in red? Well, they had a new product launch, and a lot of the customers were actually existing customers that have purchased from them before. We then, in April, generated £50,000, nearly £50,000 for them at a 4.05% return, and we segmented their audiences and got their account structure sorted, as you can see from the screenshot here. Okay, so what are the main problems when it comes to scaling an e-commerce brand from 10 to 20k to 80 to 100k? So these are the main problems that I have seen from a lot of accounts that we've audited. Okay, so account structure, audience segmentation, illogical thinking, we'll get into that in more detail, scaling, trying to outsmart the algorithm, not spending 80 to 90% on net new customers, creative volume, not sending enough emails, not having enough emails within your flows, not having the right flow set up, not suppressing your email list. We're going to dive into these in quite a lot of detail in a moment, and we'll also get in, I'll also show you some more partner results from more of our clients. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to jump straight in now to account structure, and we're going to run through this whole list together. And you're going to want to stay around because I'm about to drop some value for you guys. This is what your account should look like if you're spending under 5k a month. This is the setup: 5 to 10k a month, 10 to 30k a month, and then 30k plus per month. Okay. We're going to run through this in quite a lot of detail, so take notes or take screenshots of this board if that helps. So if you're spending under £5,000 a month, you need 2 campaigns only. That is it. You don't need to be running to lots of different countries if you're spending under 5k a month. Focus on the country that you're currently selling to, and just change the account structure to look like this. Okay, so you need a testing campaign or a prospecting campaign. So within this testing campaign, all of your new creatives or all of your new ads go into this campaign. You're only targeting new customers. So you're not targeting, people that have engaged with your business before, or you're not targeting people who have bought from you before. So it's just, you're focusing on net new customers inside this campaign. Okay. And then you have a scaling campaign. So all of the winning ads within your testing campaign can go into the scaling campaign. But there's a process on how to do this, and I'll explain that in the next couple of minutes. Okay. So what does our account look like within Meta? So you obviously have your 2 campaigns here. The budget should be allocated at the campaign level. That's important. So you've probably heard of ABO and CBO. Your campaigns need to be CBO campaigns. Okay, and we're going to go into later on in this video. We're going to go into why that is. So what does it look like? You'd have potentially ad set 1, 4 statics. Ad set 2, 2 UGC or 2 EGC videos. Ad set 3 would have 3 founder videos. Okay. You don't have to follow this structure. As long as your ad set has between 2 and 6 ads in each one, then that's fine. So this one could have 2 statics. You could have 6 UGC videos in here, and then you could have 4 founder videos as an example. Okay, so just take this here with a pinch of salt, as long as it's got 2 to 6 ads within each ad set. Okay, so you don't need loads of ads. You don't need loads of ad sets. Sorry, if you're spending under 5k a month, keep it nice and simple. Just focus on good quality creative, good quality ads, and then things that perform well, then you create different iterations of things that are performing well. And this is just actually gets me onto my next point here. So another ad set you could have, let's say for example, ad set 1, okay? It's got 2 static images within the ad set that perform well, And then you've also got 2 founder videos that perform well in this ad set, okay? So those are class. So we've got 4 winning ads potentially within our testing campaign already, okay? What we need to do is we need to create different iterations of the things that work inside our account. So we need to go ahead and create more versions of those 2 static images that work, and then we then need to create 2 more versions of those 2 founder videos that work, okay? And then we then need to put them into our winning iteration ad set separately, and then we go again, test again, okay, into a separate ad set, okay? And it's just repeating this process, okay? So really looking at the data at the ad level, not the ad set level. Look at the ads that are driving the most revenue, and then create different variations, and then you'd have more ad sets in here, okay? And then moving on to scaling, what happens, okay, when we find winning ads? Okay, well, we create different iterations of those, those ads, but how do we scale those ads up? Okay, so what we do is we then, let's say, for example, we've got 2 of the static ads that we mentioned performing well, 2 of the founder ads performing well. What we do is we don't duplicate ad set 3 and we don't duplicate ad set 1 into the scaling campaign. We look at the ads, we create a new ad set. So we've got our campaign here, we create a new ad set, and then we duplicate 2 ads from here, 2 ads from here, all the way into this winning ad set here, and we just go in completely broad, okay? That's it. Okay, we're going to talk about budgets and it's scaling separately in the next couple of minutes, but that is the setup, okay? That is the process if you're spending under 5k a month. It's really simple, and just take a screenshot of this and let me know how you get on. Get this set up immediately. So that's under 5k a month. Moving on to 5 to 10k a month, it doesn't really change that much, okay? So it's pretty much the same process. You might just want to have another campaign in here for existing customers, okay? And all of your ads will go into this existing customer campaign. As long as you've segmented your audiences properly, then you should have an existing campaign as well. If you're spending anything between 5 to 10k a month, you shouldn't be spending a huge amount of budget. 80 to 90% of your budget should be going into testing and scaling, and then the small amount here should be on existing customers, but you can start to add this in. Depends on what your goal is. If your goal is literally to drive new customer revenue, then you don't necessarily need an existing customer campaign. This is just something that's worked within the accounts that we've worked with, okay? So that's 5 to 10k a month, nothing really changes. You want to be creating different iterations and doing the same thing, and you're probably going to have more ad sets here because you're spending more, so you need to let the account breathe, and you need more ads, okay? Nice and simple. So anything 10 to 30k, again, it's exactly the same. Don't overcomplicate it. Again, I've just added some more ad sets here for different iterations. You're going to have more winning ads, hopefully, if you're spending between 10 to 30k. So you're going to have more ad sets with more iterations of things that are performing well. And then when we get to 30k plus, it changes ever so slightly, okay? This is dialed in. So if you're spending £1,000 a day, then you're going to need this setup. So it's the same with testing, scaling, existing, but we have obviously more ad sets. We've got our ad sets here with all our winning iterations from the ad sets that we're testing here. And then we also have all of our winning ads then get put into a interest targeting, basically, interest targeting ad set. So let's say, for example, again, 2 of the static ads within this ad set perform really well. 2 of the founder videos perform well. So what we'll want to do is, let's say, for example, to keep things simple, we go duplicate the 2 ads here into an interest ad set, and then 2 of the founder videos go into another one here. And let's say, for example, we're a fashion brand and we're trying to still find net new customers. We're trying to open up new pockets. Then we put, for example, hoodie apparel here, 2 of the statics go in here, 2 of the founder videos go in here, and then we run them as a separate ad set. We just repeat this process, okay? Very simple. And then we want a retargeting campaign when it comes to spending anywhere between 30k plus. You've probably heard a lot of people talk about, middle of funnel, bottom of the funnel. You should be, retargeting people who have, added to cart, initiated checkout, looked at your Instagram or whatever it may be. But the reality is you only need one one audience when it comes to retargeting, because it's going to, if you have people that have viewed your website in the last, excluding purchases, so website visitors in the last 180 days, excluding purchases. So when we're retargeting, that doesn't mean they've bought something, because we have a separate campaign here for existing. So we need retargeting for people that haven't bought but have engaged with the business. Okay, so we have ad set 1, for example, risk reversal. Could be a risk reversal ad, could be statics, could be UGC or whatever it could be. And then ad set 2 would be potentially reviews or testimonials of the business to try and get people over the line. Okay, but this is excluding new customers, excluding existing. This is just people that have engaged with your business in some way, shape, or form. And that's why we just do website visitors in the last 180 days, excluding purchases, because it's going to capture all of those people that have added to cart, initiated checkout, liked one of your posts on Instagram. So when you're spending this amount, you don't really need to dive into, setting up segmented audiences. We're only focused on people that have added to cart. You might as well just set up a separate audience just for people that have viewed your website in the last 180 days. You can change this to 90 days if you like. We have just found from the accounts that we work with, if we just set it to 180 days, it performs way better. So let us know how you get on. But that is the setup for the account structure if we're spending under 5k, 5 to 10, 10 to 30, and 30k plus. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next section now, which is scaling. So we talked about what our account structure should look like if we're spending under 5k and anything up to 30k plus. Which leads us on quite nicely to a little bit more on account structure, actually, scaling, the algorithm, and a logical thinking. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on the algorithm or machine learning, but I'm going to touch on it. Okay. So for the purpose of this video here, we have our testing campaign here. We have our ad sets here. So we've got statics, UGC, and founder. And then we have our ads within our ad sets. Okay, so 4 statics, 4 UGC videos, and then 4 founder videos. Okay, let's say this campaign has been running for 7 days. Okay, what most people do, or most businesses do, even spending 30k plus, they come in to their ad account and they don't look at the campaign level. They don't look at the ad level. They just look at the ad set level. So what they do is, let's say, for example, our static images are this ad set is performing at 2x, this UGC ad set is performing at 2x as well, and then the founder video is running at a 4x, okay? And then overall, as an example, our campaign is running at 3x, which is okay, obviously depending on what you're spending, which is pretty good, okay? So it could be profitable for some people, it could not be. But what most people do is they come in and go, well, actually our KPI is a 2.5x return. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into our account and we're going to go, well, we're going to turn this off here, then we're going to turn this off here as well. And we're going to leave this founder thing video here. But what they haven't looked at is they haven't gone, well, in our static ad set here, ad 3 is actually driving the most revenue. Okay, it might not, at the ad set level, it might not be performing profitably or what you want, but this ad set here is driving the most revenue. So why would you come in and turn this ad set off? It doesn't make any sense. And then again, what some business owners do, they go, well, okay, well, this founder ad set here, ad set 9, it's a 0.83 ROAS, so we're going to come in and turn that off. Oh, and then ad 11 is at 1.5, so we're going to come in and turn that off. And number 10 and 12 are performing, above a 2.5, so that's great. But what you don't understand, and what people don't understand, is that there's a reason why Meta is allocating budget to these 2 ad sets here, the statics and the UGC. And there's a reason why Meta is allocating budget to ad 9 and ad 11 that are on a 0.83, for example, and then a 1.5. It is optimizing to give you, or to produce, the best possible CPA for your business, and it's optimizing to give you the best return possible. So if you start coming in and turning ad sets off and turning ads off, then here at the founder ad set level here, you're going to start to see a dip in performance here. If you're turning ads off in here, if you're turning ads here off, and you're going to start to see a dip in performance. I can almost 100% guarantee it. And then we're going to go on to the topic of, well, should I just never ever turn an ad set off or never turn an ad off? Well, yes and no. If your campaign is not performing at the campaign level, okay, then you obviously have to change something. You obviously have to do something about it. So let's say, for example, our static ads have no sales, or they're running at a really poor rate, and Meta's not allocating any budget towards it, and you don't think it's going to affect your campaign in any single way, then of course, yeah, turn it off. You need to do something about it, and you need to create more ads and change things around for sure if it's not performing at the campaign level. But if it is performing at the campaign level, then you don't really need to touch anything. Let Facebook do the heavy lifting. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And like I say, there's a lot of videos on machine learning on YouTube and how the algorithm works. So go and watch those if you don't understand it. But I'm saying I see so many businesses spending 30k plus per month that are coming in and turning off ads at the ad level and turning off ad sets. Okay, so yeah, I hope that makes sense. Right, so then we're moving on to scaling. Okay, so how do we actually scale? What do we actually do? How do we actually transfer winning or performing ads from our testing campaign? So it's actually really simple, and people overcomplicate this, and they shouldn't. So when we're coming in and looking at our campaign, we should always look at the ad level to see what ads are performing the best. Okay, so and that's why we don't turn off ad sets. Okay, so let's say, for example, here we have our scaling campaign and we have our winning ad set. So we create a new ad set. We're not duplicating any ad sets. So you would look at this logically and go, okay, well, this is at a 4x. We're just going to duplicate this ad set into here, and then this is going to be our winning ad set, and then we're going to increase the budget by 20%. But that's not how we do it. Okay, the best way to do it, and the way you should be doing it from now on, is, well, okay, ad 3 is driving a good amount of revenue. So then we go, right, okay, ad 3 gets duplicated in here, and then, right, okay, what other ad is performing well? Ad 7 is performing well. Ad 8 is performing well. And then ad 12 is also performing well. These get duplicated. You don't turn anything off. These just get hard duplicated into here or into this ad set, and they run. Let's say, for example, we're spending £1,000 a day on our testing campaign. A lot of people will go, well, we need to increase our budget by 20%. So we'll put £1,200. We'll put £1,200 budget on our scaling campaign and hope for the best. No, we need to scale our ad, we need to scale our winning ad set slowly. Okay, we probably want to put 20%. So if we're spending £1,000 here, then we want to have this at £200 per day. Okay, and if it's profitable, keep an eye on it. Every 2 to 3 days, we can then start to increase the budget 20, 50%, 100%. Okay, we've tested, all three, 20, 50, 100, and they will work really well. Okay, depending on how quickly you want to scale, depending on what offers you have on, all the rest of it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now we're going to talk about audience segmentation and how important it is. I touched on this briefly at the start of the video, but I'm going to dive into audience segmentation and why it's important in a little bit more detail for you guys here. There'll be a lot of people out there that say, oh, it's not that important and you don't need to have it in your account. But that is incorrect. And in 2025, 2026, so on and so forth, you need to have this set up in your account. You need to know how much you're spending on new customers, engaged customers, and existing customers. It's really, really important for growth and scale. So if you don't know what top of funnel is, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, then I'm just going to run through it really quickly. So top of funnel is somebody who has not interacted with your business in any way, shape or form. Middle of funnel is a potential customer that has interacted with your business. So that could either be on your website. They could have looked at a product. They could have added to cart. They could have initiated checkout, but they haven't made a purchase. Okay, that's the middle of funnel. Bottom of funnel is a customer that has purchased from you. People will argue that bottom of the funnel, no, it's add to cart and initiate checkout, but this is the easiest way to look at it. Okay, and this is how we have it set up in all of our accounts, and all of our accounts are doing really well. So, how do we set this up, and how do we know if we have this in our account? So, if you go to your ad account, you can follow along. You can do this now if you like. You go to your ad account and then go on the left-hand side. It will say something called advertising settings. Click on advertising settings, and if you click on that, you'll soon know if you have your audience segmented, because it will say defined. Your audiences will say defined in that section on advertising settings. Okay, and another way to look and see if you don't know how much money you're spending on new customers engaged and existing customers, go to your ad account. On the right hand side, you'll see a little column that says breakdown. Click on breakdown and then scroll down to audience segments, and you'll be able to see how much money and how much revenue you're producing from new customers, engaged, and existing customers. If it says unknown on the bar below, then you know that you don't know how much you're spending on new customers, engaged, and existing customers. Okay, so it's really, really important, because 80 to 90% of your budget should be going here at the top of funnel. Okay, for new cold traffic. Okay, and like I say, there'll be a lot of people that say that that's wrong and incorrect, and you don't need to set it up like this, but you do. Trust me. All of our accounts have it set up, and they're performing really well. And another thing to talk about quickly before we move on is in your testing campaign, and we've talked about how we set up our testing campaign. In our testing campaign, we would then need to exclude, because we're only going towards new audiences in our testing campaign. So what we then need to do is exclude everybody who's interacted with our business and everybody who has purchased from us before. So we need to exclude these two audiences here in our testing campaign. So we're only going after new audiences. And the same again for middle of funnel. So if we're retargeting customers, we're spending over between £30,000 a month, we have a retargeting campaign. We then exclude people that have purchased from us. So we're only going after people. So we're not going after new audiences here. We're retargeting people specifically that have interacted with our business, but they've not made a purchase. Okay, so we're just focusing on that. And then again, same with retention, our retention campaign. Okay, so for our existing customers, we need to exclude people who have been to our website and not made a purchase. We're only targeting people that have made a purchase from us. So we need to exclude here and here. Nice and simple, okay? And we have that set up. It's a little bit it's easier to analyze the data, and trust me, you'll be able to scale a lot further. Any questions on that specifically, let us know. But this is really, really important to get to the next level. We're going to touch on creative velocity next, and then we're going to talk about emails. I get a lot of questions on how many ads should we be running as a brand, and if we're spending this amount, how many ads should we run? And how many new concepts and new ideas should we be coming up with, and how many should we be running in our account? And I think that's the wrong way to look at it. And some of you may disagree with me on that, and some of you may think, well, we need to create as many ads as possible, we need to run as many ads as possible inside our account every week and every month, but that's always not the best idea, and it doesn't always work as well as you think. So, and what I mean by this is a lot of brands will spend 70% of the time coming up with new concepts and new ideas, which is not necessarily a bad thing. However, they're only spending 30% of the time on creating ads or new iterations of things that are working inside their account. And the logical way of looking at this would be, surely that should be the other way around. Surely you should be spending 70% of the time on creating new versions of things that are working well, rather than spending 70% of the time building new concepts and new creative. So just have a think about that. And because a lot of the accounts that we work with, we spent 70% of the time creating new ads that are working inside our account, and performance has gone like this. It's improved. So you don't necessarily have to run 30 new statics every month and 20 different UGC videos and all these different things. Yeah, it's great to have new concepts and new ideas. Great, have them in the bank ready to go if need be. But focus on 70% of your time should be going on things that are working, new iterations on things that are working inside your account. And this is where we touched on illogical thinking. A lot of people within that run meta ad accounts think illogically. So let's start thinking logically, and you're going to be able to get your account to the next level. We're going to touch on emails as well in just a moment, as this is really important too. So we're gonna jump to our welcome flows and so on and so forth. Firstly, we're going to talk about pre-purchase flows and why they're important. A lot of you out there won't have all of this in your account, and you should do. So you're going to want to listen to this section of the video. So fairly obvious. What we start with is obviously our welcome email. So when somebody signs up to your newsletter, they should automatically get a welcome email for you. And what does that include? Well, it's pretty straightforward. It's just to say welcome. Welcome to the community, welcome to the brand. You want a short introduction. Thanks for signing up, and then offer a small discount. On the first email, always provide a small incentive for the potential customer to get back on the website and use a small discount to purchase a product, okay, or an item, okay. And email 2 is founder info. So talk to your customers about why you started, how you started, the journey so far. Really connect with your customers, give them a bit of information about the brand and why you started. That's really important. And then email 3, education and pain points. Educate your potential customers on the product and potential pain points that that some of these customers are going to have. Okay, so it's obviously different if you're a fashion brand and you're a health brand. So you get creative with this, guys. Every brand is going to be different, and you can move some of these emails around. So for example, you could do email 4 goes to email 2, and then email 2 goes to email 4, for example. So you can change these around and figure out what works best for your business and the specific niche that you're in. And just test it and have fun with it. So email 5, social proof and reviews. A lot of customers, you'll be surprised, will look at will really look at a lot of the reviews before they make any action, before they make a purchase. They want to see other customers that have experienced your product before they go ahead and purchase. So social proof and reviews is really important. I know that sounds obvious, but I see a lot of accounts don't have like a social proof or reviews email within their flows, so that's really important. That here is you're going to get a lot of people over the line with this email. Okay, email 6, more education. Sometimes you can't educate a specific customer just in one email, so another educational email is always good. And then email 7, bestsellers, more reviews, and then email 8 is last chance to claim your welcome discount. Okay, nice and simple. You don't have to have all these flows set up to start with. You can just have 4 in your account to start with as an example, and then you can then build from there. Okay, but the majority of you that have this in your account will simply make more money. A lot of you might think, oh, it's spammy and there's too many emails. If you have this in your account, you'll make more money. It's that simple. And this is free money. So once this is set up, all you have to do is optimize it. And you're going to see some massive improvements. Okay, so any questions on the welcome email, let me know. And you can change the time delays you send these. Okay, so you can test it. There's no right or wrong answer, but just to give you a rough idea, email 2 days later from the first one, 3 days here, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 3 days. You get the point. Okay, test it and try it, see what works best for your business. Okay, it's going to take you a while to test all these things, but once you have these set up, it makes it a little bit easier to optimize and change things. Okay, so moving on, site abandon and browse abandon. So a lot of you out there think you have site abandon flow in your account and a browse abandon in your account, and it's actually a lot different to abandon cart and abandon checkout. If you don't have this in your account, it needs to go in today. Your revenue is going to increase overnight. Okay, so site abandon. When somebody goes on your website and doesn't take an action at all, they don't look at a product, they don't add to cart, they don't initiate checkout, they just go on your website and come off. Okay? They enter the email and they just come straight off. They don't look at anything. So email 1, looking for something, ? Nice and friendly, not too pushy. You don't want to give them an incentive straight away, because if we can convert them without giving them an incentive, then fantastic. Okay, CTA to keep looking around. And then just give them maybe a little bit of information on the bestsellers, or just list out the bestsellers with another call to action button to get them back to the website. Email 2, and you could send this 2 hours later after they've site abandoned, 2 hours later, and then email 2 could be sent a day later as an example. Talk about USPs and talk about the other benefits of your product. Get creative. Email 3, founder favorites. CTA to keep looking around. Keep it simple. And then browse abandon is pretty much the same. It's somebody goes on your website, they look at a specific product or products, and then come off the website. They don't add to cart, they don't initiate checkout, they don't make a purchase. Reminder, reviewed item. Okay, so, or it could be items. They could be looking at a couple of different items. Goal is to get them to add to cart, move them down the funnel. That's the goal. Email 2, so this could be sent again 2 hours later, and then email 2 could be a day later. Okay, product quality information. State why your product is better than the rest. Like I say, get creative with these. Email 3, offer a small incentive. Like I say, don't offer an incentive straight away. Try and get them down the funnel as quickly and as fast as possible. But if they don't, take an action at email 1 and 2, then you can offer a small incentive. You can change the psychology with it a little bit. A lot of people say, increase they obviously have a welcome discount at 10%. They start increasing the amount of discount, but maybe you want to change the psychology of a little bit. Maybe give £20 off or £10 off. Okay, 10% and £20. Obviously, depending on what your average order value is, but you can play around with just giving them a tenner off or £20 off. Okay, so think about that. Email 4. Handle some objections. What's your biggest objection when it comes to your brand? And then the incentive that we've offered is expiring on the last email, just to try and get them over the line. Okay, so that's browse abandon and site abandon. Okay, and like I say, a lot of you won't have this in your account, so get it in there. Abandon cart and abandon checkout. So email 1, reminder cart item that was left. The goal is to obviously get them to initiate checkout, get them down the funnel, and to eventually purchase. Talk about, we can't hold this item for so long, for much longer. The CTA back to cart, you could say it's low in stock. Email 2, offer an incentive. Again, we don't want to offer them an incentive straight away. And then why buy now, not tomorrow? Okay, that could be related to stock, etc., etc. Email 3, social proof, review, testimonials. Again, we want to have social proof and reviews in all of our flows. It's really important. And then email 4 again, urgency, low stock, last one left, last couple left. The incentive is expiring. Okay, these are just examples. Again, abandon checkout is pretty much the same. Just put different spins on it. Reminder items left in checkout. Goal is to obviously get them to purchase. This item is low in stock. CTA back to checkout. 3 left in stock for this specific item in your size, or we estimate this sells out in your size soon. And then maybe an incentive. Change it, play around with it. Again, social proof reviews, last chance, urgency, incentive expiring today. So you can just keep it similar, but just change it a little bit. Like, for example, incentive expiring today, you could have incentive expiring tomorrow, as an example. Okay, so you can change it around and have a play around with it. Okay, so this is our pre-purchase flows. Just double check all of these are in your account because they're really, really important. We're going to move onto post-purchase flows and run through the importance of that. Any questions on this specifically, let me know. That leads us on nicely to post-purchase flows, which is just as important as pre-purchase flows. And a lot of you won't have, like I said before, a lot of you won't have the post-purchase flows set up in your account. And it's important that you lay it out exactly how I'm about to tell you. So the obvious place to start is customer thank you. So you want the first email should be as soon as they order. You need a thank you message to go out and show genuine gratitude. Thank them for becoming a customer. Okay, you want to separate customers that buy for the first time and customers that buy for the fourth time. If they're a fourth time customer, then they want to go into a separate VIP flow, which I'm going to touch on in a moment. Okay, give them exclusive access to potential new product launches or new collections that are launching soon. Give them early access, maybe 24 hours before general release, as an example. Okay, it depends on what niche you're in and what business you're in. Email 2, what to expect next. When can they expect to receive their order, for example, how to use the product. If you're a fashion brand, maybe how to style it, how to wear the product, how we're wearing it, how the founders are wearing it. Okay, be creative. If you're a health brand, go talk about when to take the product, what time is best to take it. Is it best to take this tablet or pill with a meal, before you go to sleep? Okay, that's email 2. Email 3 is cross-sell if relevant, other products within the same collection, as an example. And upsell. So if they potentially buy if they buy a t-shirt and a tracksuit, you maybe want to upsell them a hoodie. Okay, this is just an example. Email 4, ask for a review, offer an incentive for the review. Okay, you're almost gonna get the review if you offer them an incentive. This could be, a discount as an example. Okay. And then email 5, if not reviewed, gently ask again. CTA to Trustpilot, okay, or another review platform that you're using. Obviously, you want to send this when they've received the product, so it depends how quickly you can ship the product. You want to delay this until they've obviously received the product, okay? That's important and probably obvious. But that's email 4, and this is pretty much how you want to keep this. Email 2, email 3, email 4. This is pretty much in the right order. Okay, you can change it around slightly, but I would probably recommend keeping it like this. Okay, so that's customer thank you flow. Okay, important that you have that in your account. Customer win back. So this is a customer that hasn't purchased from you in the last 90 days. Email 1, we have not heard from you in a while. Okay, we miss you. Invite back to site. A slight nudge to check out what's new collections that we've potentially launched. This can be, however, whatever you like. Email 2, offer incentive, and in our pre-purchase flows, we don't like to offer an incentive straight away because we could get them back to the website to buy something else before we give an incentive. Okay, so just remember that. Offer an incentive on the second email. Relate to the fact that they bought previously. Email 3, talk about the recent bestsellers. Personal founder messages are always good, so you can add that in. Email 4, urgency on incentive, 24 hours to claim. Nice and simple. And this, again, reminder, only customers that haven't bought in the last 90 days. Okay. Unengaged. This is, again, really important. A lot of you won't have an unengaged flow, and there'll be a lot of people on your email list that you are paying for, that are not engaging with your business and are not real customers. So we need to start removing people from the list that aren't real customers. So email 1. We have not heard from you. This is for people that have not opened an email in the last 6 months. So in the last 180 days, if they haven't opened an email, they get put into this this flow, and the emails get sent here from here. Okay, so email 1, we have not heard from you. Would you rather not be contacted? Not in a aggressive way, but just would you just rather not email you? Make it nice and friendly, and then give them the option to unsubscribe. So make it clear. Rather than you having it at the bottom of the footer, just make it a little bit clearer that you can unsubscribe by clicking this button. Still have not heard from you. Assuming you like to keep up to date with us on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it might be. And then email 3, maybe a personal message from the founder, that always works. And then talk about the brand values, etc., etc. Email 4, we will now unsubscribe you. Okay, you haven't opened our emails, or we haven't heard from you again. So we'll go ahead and unsubscribe you, and then just, if they want to, click here to stay as a subscriber. If they don't come back, you just automatically subscribe. Okay, so that's really, really important. Clean your list. You're going to save money. You're probably spending quite a lot of money on customers that are not your real customers. All right. So, and then lastly, our VIP flows. Okay, so if somebody buys for the 4th time, for example, or they spend over a certain value, you can decide this. We work with brands that do both. So email 1 is personal message from the founder, announce that they are a VIP. So, and then give them an incentive for becoming a VIP. So this is different depending on what your brand is or what niche you're in. Talk about the VIP perks. It builds even better rapport. You want to keep them as a customer. Okay, you want them to remain as a VIP customer. Email 3 is then the incentive reminder if they haven't taken action on becoming a VIP, as an example. So, and then just urgency to claim. So that's our post-purchase flows. And you're probably thinking, well, you've told me exactly how to lay all of these emails out, but how do I design them? Well, firstly, you want to go to reallygoodemails.com and then head to milled.com to get some inspiration on your emails. Okay, and then build your emails out in Figma. There's lots of YouTube videos on how to build and design emails. But maybe I'll create another YouTube video or another video on that later today. So I hope that helped. So to recap, we covered quite a lot there. We covered account structure, audience segmentation, illogical thinking, scaling, trying to outsmart the algorithm, not spending 80 to 90% on new net customers, creative volume, not sending enough emails, not having enough emails within your flows, not having the right flow set up, and then not suppressing your email list. Okay, so if you need help specifically with any one of these things, let us know in the comments, or just reach out to us directly and we can help you with any one of these specific things. So if you want to work with us on your paid ads and your email, we work on a commission basis only. We only get paid when you get results. If you want us to create ads plus email design, there is a charge for this. We only work with e-commerce brands generating over £10,000 a month. We will provide you with a free in-depth audit. So we'll look at your account top to bottom through Meta and Klaviyo, and book in a call so we can provide you with a personalized offer and see if we're a good fit for each other. I hope you found this video valuable, and let us know if you have any questions.